Well, hello everybody. So I decided to do another video before the end of the year, and I'm sure I'll probably do another one, who knows. But I have some stuff that needs to get done today, so I figured that you guys could spend the day with me. We're gonna feed these guys. I'm gonna try and film it the best I can. I don't know how it's actually going to come out. There's only 27, 28 of them left. I'm losing them right now. They're starting to go through molting, and I think 12 have tried the molt and only 2 have made it through. So I'm not quite sure what I'm not doing right. Hopefully, you know, the rest of these guys are the stronger ones and they're all going to be okay. But I did have 4 attempt to molt over the last 2 days. Only 2 of them have actually made it through. And that's these 2 guys, this one here and this one here. Both have made it through. You can see the molt on the bottom. Let's see if we can see where he's at. He's right there. So they're considerably bigger now than they were before. Here's the other. You can see how much, you really can't see, can you? Because it's kind of hard to focus on those little dudes. You could see how much bigger he is compared to, let me see if I can get one that's down, one that hasn't molted yet. No, you can't see that one. Here's one. There's a little dude right there. So you can see that one compared to that one there and that one there. So what I'm going to do is I have a whole bunch of these cups, of course, left over because of the ones that have died. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up a bunch of screen and I'm going to glue a screen patch on each side. So that's going to be my job for later on tonight while I'm watching television, is to get those things ready, and then I'll transfer each one of these mantises out of this into those so that they have something they climb up on the sides, and maybe that'll help them with their molting process. I'm worried that they might be falling, even though they should be okay on the paper towels. That's what I was told, is just to glue paper towel squares on the lids and they should be able to hang from them. So, okay, so I'm going to get the fruit flies. They're in the refrigerator cooling off because it's a lot easier to feed them that way. What I do is I put them in the fridge for about 20 minutes to half an hour, pour them into a smaller vial, and then dump 1 or 2 into each container. All these containers right now have the lids off of them, or not off of them, but popped, so that I can get through them, you know, really, really quick. I wanted to keep these 2 separate because these are the 2 that molted. And then we'll try and maybe see if I can't capture one of them feeding. We'll try, but I'm not guaranteeing anything because, again, without the macro screen or the macro attachment on, it's kind of hard to see them. And it's kind of hard to film with the macro on because you have to really be in the perfect position for them. And if they move, it goes out of focus so easy. So we'll do what we can do. Other stuff on the agenda today is Cheeto needs to be taken out of her enclosure. It needs to be completely cleaned and new substrate put in. I found fungus and mold underneath, way down underneath. And I don't like that. So we are going to take her out. I'm going to show you how I do it. Again, I'm going to do my best with the camera angles. Get her out, completely dump everything out, clean the enclosure, mix a new batch of substrate, put it in, put her back in. And then I also want to try and rehouse the Cujo, which is a Grammostola pulchripes, little guy, into the small critter keeper. And I also want to try and redo Euatha species red enclosure, add more substrate for her. And I also want to try and rehouse the solo Monosynthropus balfouri into something a little bit bigger. Hopefully it'll come out a little bit more. We'll be able to see it more because the softball container that's in, it's probably fine for another molt, but this will give it more room to move and more room for us to see it. It's really turning out really pretty. Even though we think he's a male, he's really getting the coloring down. So let me get the fruit flies and get set up to try and show you what I do with these guys. And again, we'll pray for the best with the camera angles and hopefully we'll be okay. Okay, so I am back. Again, I don't know how much of this is going to show up on film, so hopefully it'll be enough that you guys can see what the process is for doing this. So here's the fruit flies, and they're already starting to wake up. It doesn't take them long to kind of come back to life. So all I do is we'll start here. We just kind of try and get one or two in there. Two in, move it off to the side. Grab the next one and do the same thing. And every now and then you'll get one that will decide, so this one's on the lid, so just dump one or two in there. Sometimes you'll get 3 or 4. Here's one's on the side. So that's pretty much the process of how it goes. So what I'm going to do now is pause it here, or else we'll spend 5-10 minutes watching me do this, and then I'm going to try and get one feeding, so you guys could see one feeding. Actually, we'll try and feed the 2 that just molted, and we'll do the feeding video with them. Okay guys, we're going to do our best trying to feed this little dude. This is one of the ones that molted. See if he's interested. We can keep the fruit flies in. And that's the problem with the fruit flies, is they got to stay in. There we go. So that one's got one. So we're going to move him or her off to the side. And yeah, the other fruit flies are probably going to come out and try feeding this one. No, you can't come out. Oh, missed. Come on, buddy, get one before they all climb out. There we go. Okay, so both of them have got one. And that's all they'll eat, is one at a time, but they will eat the other ones that are in there if I leave them in there. So we'll try and, I'm just going to try and zoom you guys in. See what happens here. We're not getting the best light. So there they are, little tiny little guys. And these are the Hirudula. No, these aren't the Hirudula, sorry. These are the Tenodora sinensis. The Hirudula are the other ones. And it does look like, honestly, I have to check them out, but it looks like both of the Hirudula membranacea are both female. I thought the one was male, but males have 8 plates on the abdomen, and females have between 5 and 6, and I think they both have 6. So we'll check, 'cause I do have to move the other one into something bigger as well. That's another one of my projects that needs to get done today. So we'll get as much stuff in as we possibly can, and hope you guys have fun hanging out with me today. I think our next move is going to be getting Cheeto set up to get her out of her enclosure. And I'll show you guys how I do that. Things that I use to rehouse smaller spiders, such as Cheeto. This is a piece of plexiglass with holes drilled in it, and you'll see what this is for in a second. This is a 50 dram vial. Holes in the bottom, holes on the sides. I generally don't need the holes on the sides, but and then this thing. This is just a skewer, wooden skewer. So let me get, well, we also need Cheeto. So again, we're doing this on the fly. There is Cheeto. And it seems to me like we're not going to be high enough possibly for you guys to see how I do what I do. Okay, so first thing I do is we're going to take this lid and get this lid up. And we're going to take the 50 dram vial. So we'll slide the lid this way. And we put the vial in. I'm going to try and get you guys into a different angle so you guys can see a little bit better. Give me a second. Okay, now hopefully you guys will be able to see this a little bit better. We're up a little higher. I can't get any closer because I need to be able to work. And this is one of the reasons why I don't generally do rehousings live. But this was requested, so I'm going to do it. So what we'll do is we'll take this lid off. Hope Cheeto doesn't take off on us. And then I put this over top. Okay, now this completely covers the whole entire enclosure. You can see it's way out here, all the way around. So Cheeto can't get out unless Cheeto can figure out how to fit through these holes. Now I will manipulate this and move it to try and get, so we'll stick the stick down and we'll kind of just gently nudge her and hope that she just kind of wants to cooperate, and she probably won't. It's probably going to take a little while to get her into where I want her to go. Last time it took quite a while. See, and she's never really threat postured me. She just kind of takes off. She'll run around the enclosure a little bit. She'll move with the webbing, then she'll climb up to the side. And this is where it gets tough. You can see she's all the way up here, and now I don't have any holes where I need to get her. So I have a little bit, I'll move it a little bit, try and get Cheeto down. See, she wants to come straight up all the time. Okay, once we get into a better position, we'll just keep slowly maneuvering her, nice and easy. Try and guide her to where I want her to go. Eventually she'll get there. How long that'll take, you never know. So you guys are with me for the long haul here, because I'm not going to stop. Sometimes we have to move this down a little bit so that hopefully she'll crawl in it. She just did all this web the other day too, and try and get rid of some of this. Okay, so back to, probably going to see my big paws here and there. Go on, Cheeto, you're almost there. There you go, girl. Okay, now she's in. And once she gets to the other side, she'll stay. She won't go anywhere. So we'll just take the lid off. Grab the lid. Oh, can you guys see? There she is. She's in. Grab the lid. Put the lid there. And then close her in. And there's Cheeto. So we're going to dump this substrate. And I'm going to mix up something different. Because I do like to water her down every now and then. We're going to use some sand and some vermiculite, and then we're going to mix cocoa fiber with the organic potting soil that I have, and redo this. I'll get rid of all these leaves and get her a new water dish and clean the enclosure out. So when I get all that set and put back together with whatever decorations I decide to put in there, I'll show you how I put her back in. Okay, so we got it all cleaned. New substrate. There's vermiculite, cocoa fiber, potting soil, and the cocoa fiber that's mixed in there with some little bits of moss, some leaf. I've got to grab a water dish, and this is an old Halloween decoration that we had that kind of broke apart. It was an old like Halloween tree, some branches. I thought that would add a little bit of mystique to the enclosure. You're not going to see a good shot of it because of the way the light is and where the camera is. Well, we're going to grab a water dish real quick. So I'm going to put the camera or the mic down because I didn't try out the extension yet. This is probably a good time to do it, but I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to put the mic down, grab a water dish, get that in there, get some water in there for her, and get her in there. I'm not going to spray it down now because the potting soil already has moisture content to it, and with the vermiculite should soak that up and keep the lower level a little bit more humid for her if she decides to dig. And then we'll check up on her in a few days and see what she's done to this place, and we'll go on. So give me a second to grab a water dish. I'll be right back. All right, let's get that in there. There's some water, which I've never actually seen her drink any water before. And then I'll show you again how I kind of get her back in. With this, you want to make sure that you have the lid ready. So the lid will be right next to the camera, and my top cover, which is the plexiglass. So we'll open her lid, okay, and I just set her in like so, and we'll put this cover over top. And then, because the holes in the side of the enclosure, what I'll try to do is, which I'm not going to be able to do, generally I just kind of poke through, well, we'll just do it with this, try to get her to go forward, which last time she didn't want to do this either. She kind of fought going back out. You can see she kind of manipulates herself in a way that makes it a little difficult. I want to make sure that you keep the plastic tight on the enclosure so that it doesn't sneak out an opening on the side there. Come on, Cheats. Let's go. Come on, girl. Just back up. Back up. A lot of people use paintbrush, and I found it's, you can use them because they're, the bristles, but I don't really push very hard on the spiders. And I found that these are a little bit easier to maneuver and work with. They're wood, so if they were to bite them, it really wouldn't harm them or their fangs. All right, you're almost out now. Don't come back in. See, they get into this now, and then she's comfortable because she knows she's safe in here, even though I'm poking her in the. I don't know how much of this you guys are getting, to be honest with you. Camera's off to the side of me, and I can't see it. So, come on, little girl. You went in so nicely. And just come on out. Sometimes I'll just let them come out on their own, but she will stay in this thing for a good amount of time. See, now she'll come right back in because it's like a haven for her right now. While she was in here, nothing happened to her. She felt somewhat safe. And now you got some big guy poking her with the stick to get her out. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. There you go. Okay, now she's out of it. No, she's going to go back in it. No, don't go back in. There you go. Then I just kind of lift it up, pull, reach in, and grab it. She's out. Okay, now I'll get the lid on and we'll take a look at her. Hey guys, we're probably about an hour since rehousing Cheeto. You can see her there. She seems to be doing okay. She hasn't done anything webbing wise yet, but I'm sure that'll come. She's been all over the place, just kind of checking things out, making sure everything's okay for her. So yeah, that's the rehousing from start to finish of Cheeto, the Orphnaecus philippinus, or the Philippine tangerine. So I have a few things I want to try and get done. We've had so much snow here, record snow, over 5 feet of snow over the course of the last 4 or 5 days. So I'm going to try and get down to the mailbox and go pick up a few things that we're missing. And then I'll be back later and get to setting up the house for the Monocentropas balfouri. and the Grammostola pulchripes. Okay, so we are going to finish off today with a rehouse of Cujo. Cujo's right here. Grammostola pulchripes. This is the enclosure that we were in. You can see little feet right there. And we're going to move into this new one. There's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going to go with him. Put a piece of bark here with a pre-made burrow. A few plants foliage around the sides, and apparently some dog hair. So we're going to try and get Cujo in here kind of painstakingly easily, which hopefully we'll just be able to go from here right into there. We may even just try and do Cujo right in the hand here. See if we can't get him to go up, him or her. You probably guys aren't seeing that very well. There she is. Let's go right on down, little one. Spider-Man's in there. So there we are, all nice and cozy. We'll see how we do. They're such sweet tarantulas, these Grammostola pulchripes. #1 beginner species as far as I'm concerned. There are some that are close, but as far as availability, cost, docility, ease of care, size, feeding response, growth rate, I just can't find one that's as good. And others may have a few, different ones that they would suggest, but I think you're going to find this in the top 2 or 3 at anybody's #1 beginner species tarantula. So I was going to do the Belfori rehouse and move, but I think I'm just going to do that off to the side just to make sure that I don't have any issues, because it's going to have to be done completely different than what I've done with Cheeto and with Cujo here, because it's in a softball cube. So I'm going to have to actually get it out of the softball cube into a bigger tub and then go from there. Then I'll get it into, into a vial, and then get the vial into the new enclosure set up. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to set the new enclosure up. I'm trying to figure out how to make it like a rocky island kind of texture to it, but I'm not really. I have some rocks, but nothing, they're smooth rocks, so they're not really that kind of rock. So we'll figure something out, but look forward to seeing that one in its new enclosure. And I hope that you guys could enjoy as much of this as you possibly could. I didn't watch any of this. I just took all the raw footage of what I filmed today and uploading it to you guys straight as it is. So we had, what did we do today? The feeding of the baby mantises, the rehousing of Cheeto, and the rehousing of this one. My last task for today is to feed the roaches and start cutting the mesh for the change of the enclosures for the mantises, the mantis babies. So let me know what you guys thought, how the rehousing went, how much of it you actually could see, how interesting it was to you. If it's something you want to see more of, let me know. So we will talk to everybody soon. Bye.